And so, guys, let's start with the here we go for Timo Werner. Tottenham are working hard to sign a new centre back. We know the conversations with Genoa for Radu Dragosin continue even during the weekend. Positive thoughts. Tottenham insist on Radu Dragosin as new centre back, but Tottenham, meanwhile, have closed the deal for a new striker. And this Timo Werner, former Chelsea player, is returning to Premier League. From what I'm hearing, he's really ready to work under Ange Postecoglou. He believes this is the perfect system, the perfect idea to perform for him, for Timo Werner, and the same for Ange Postecoglou, who believes Werner is a league opportunity.
And with that, welcome everyone to another show of GZ Sports featuring your boy Randy Savage, accompanied by the man, the myth, the New Year legend, Jackson Bryan. Jackson, how are you doing today? Happy New Year's, bro.
Yeah, Happy New Year, man. We're doing well. Just finished the FA Cup watch and everything. So, Liverpool gone through, but people don't like Darwin Nunez. But let's leave that alone. We'll leave that till later. About you? Yeah, man. Again, you guys see that Fry's not here. Don't worry about him as yet. Again, there's a ticker at the end of the screen to like, share, and to subscribe as well. Can always find us. It's the transfer window, so obviously you're gonna need to be following our handle as well as the GC handle itself for when news does break. We do get the information, we do break it as possible. Yeah. So this show, we'll diving straight into the Premier League. And we need to find out what teams or what type of players, what positions are teams looking for in this window. What saves a team from relegation? What helps a team challenge for the title? What helps one challenge for top 4, top 6, top 7, etc. And we have to start at the bottom of the barrel with Sheffield United. They look like a lost cause, conceding how many goals every now and again. Scoring is a bit of an issue. Sav, what do Sheffield need? I mean, they signed Berberita Diaz on loan from Villarreal, but what do Sheffield need to possibly stay up from relegation this season?
In my opinion, Sheffield United need a improved midfield. The midfield right now is very lacking in quality. Teams easily control possession against them. There's the DMs, man. The DMs defend like Trent. There is no defending being done at Bramhall Lane. It's sad to see, but Ben Beretta Diaz has come in. I was going to recommend a striker, but then I remembered, Ben Beretta Diaz is in, and he is actually amazing. The Chilean forward. Yes, he's Chilean, by the way, guys. I know. They need a commanded midfielder, someone who's big, someone who's strong, someone who can command a midfield position. It's like kind of like a Van Dijk, but in a CDM role. You need a Bruno Guimaraes type player, right? However, obviously you can't get him. I would probably think that maybe a man like Fred would have been really good for them. However, Fred is in Turkey right now. So, you can have it. McTominay probably can do it because we've seen it. And I've pointed this out before. McTominay is the type of player, when he is one of the main men in the team, he can score goals. He can flourish. He produces. Look at Scotland's performances with McTominay, right? I'd say they need a type of player like McTominay. I know he doesn't. He has his off days as well. However, I think that's the main position that they should try to fill in the DM at least. Jackson, over to you.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I can't disagree with them needing a defensive midfielder. I can't disagree with them needing a striker. Hell, they might need a whole squad. But for me, I think the positions they're lacking in, because look, up front, I don't really have a problem. They play with two up front, and it's going to be Diaz, it's going to be Archer. Midfield, yeah, they do need an enforcer there because they lost Sanderberger and haven't replaced him. I do think they need a goalkeeper. I think that's the most, how may I say, the most important part of this team. Because let's be honest, Wes Fotheringham is not doing it. I mean, he's been there how long now? He was there once in the Premier League. They didn't give him a sniff, you know, and that was when they took United took Dean Henderson back, and he still couldn't get a sniff. So I think they need to replace Wes Fotheringham just to make it a bit more realistic for them to stay up. Because you know, if your goalkeeper's letting in 5 goals and you're scoring 4, it doesn't really matter what happens. You know, it doesn't really matter. But I'd love to see, and this is a bit biased, but I'd love to see Sheffield go out and sign Andre Blake from Philadelphia. I profile a player, the age profile is there, the experience level is there. He's an international. It just works for them. Short term fix. They stay up. Next season they go out and get a younger goalkeeper if they want. But I don't know. Maybe I'm biased.
Well, you know, we also have to look at the fact that West Fotheringham, well, he hasn't been the best. The defense has made it too easy at times to get a shot off. Even if Allison faces 100 shots, eventually, all straight at him. Eventually, he will get fatigued. Eventually, he will get tired. Eventually, he may let one in. And Fotheringham is no Allison, as we know.
Mhm.
Um, Blake, Blake. Andre Blake is an excellent keeper. It is whether or not Philadelphia are willing to lose their captain, because remember he captains them, and he has been MLS goalkeeper of the year a record 3 times. So
Mhm.
they'll argue they're losing their captain and their best player. I don't see them letting him go. Not for any paltry sum of money. At least he'll have to fetch out some good bucks, probably to eventually even become the club record signing at this point, if they want to attract him, and of course high class wage.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, that's maybe a legacy, a fantasy. You know, I don't know what. Maybe it's just purely biased. But listen, if Sheffield fix that defense, they have a good chance of staying up. They've shown they can score goals. They've done it against Man City. They've done really well against Man United. You know, they've shown they can score. So fix the defense, maybe they have a chance. I still don't think they do. Just like this team here, Burnley. Vincent Company, you know, Pep's boy, you know, a Pep student. No one says that anymore since they're losing, but we all know it's true. Burnley are 19th. I don't think any of us expected them to go down immediately. I think I had them a bit further up, but then again, City sold them a young keeper. I've seen this last season exactly when they sold Bazuna to Southampton. They finished dead last. Look at Burnley. Don't buy goalkeepers from City. That's what I'm saying. But Sav, the question is posed to you again. I think for Burnley, they don't have
Burnley,
any depth whatsoever. But I think if they get an out and out goal scorer to help the team, because Trafford is actually pretty decent, if they get a goal scorer to help the team, they will survive. Do you share that sentiment?
yes, I actually was about to say that. I think there's a quite a good few goal scorers out there. You know, they have the likes of maybe Adams that you can probably get for a good fee, McBurney as well, who do have Premier League experience. You cannot forget that that's the most important part. Of course, if you're looking for reinforcements, you could also look at Timo Pukki in the championship. From the championship, I could say. Although I can't see why he would be coming up and face going instantly back down again with another team. Uh, they need a striker. They need a commanding presence in the box. A man who can score all sorts of goals. Maybe a discount early in Haaland, if you would. You know, can make chances and score goals from half chances, quarter chances. Um, that's what Burnley needs. Burnley needs a goal scorer, as you said. The rest of the squad is not like they are Manchester City-esque, but they're certainly not bad in each position. They just need a striker who can actually convert goals. Where Wout Weghorst comes in. I'm joking.
I mean, they still have him on the books.
Weghorst. The Weghorst, though.
They still have him on the
I
books.
mean, yeah, they technically do. Although I don't see why. I don't see why. But anyways, over to you, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, look, Burnley are the sort of team that no, I mean, look, how many years ago did they have two great finishing strikers in, well, not great, but you know what I mean, in Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood, and they've fallen off all of a sudden. You know what I mean? They still have Jay Rodriguez, but they have fallen off a lot. And I think Burnley would need to, Alan Pace would need to get that checkbook out and get a few players in. You know, he definitely needs someone up front. If they're gonna consistently play this formation, they're gonna need a striker at least. Midfield, I think that's okay. You know, they're not really getting run through, but they are conceding a lot. And I mean, they're facing a lot of shots. They're not defending from the front properly. And I think you get an energetic striker in. Um, for that, you know, that's a bit different. You know, the way Burnley play, I'm thinking maybe you go to the MLS again, and maybe you go for a Jesus Ferreira, or you go to Norwich and say, here's 10 million for Josh Sargent, and you put him up front. The energy keeps the defenders with the ball backwards. They're forcing long balls. You're moving forward. But you know, again, that's probably just a fantasy from our end here. A fantasy of teams staying up as well is Luton Town. I thought they would already be confirmed relegated at this point, but they are fighting. They're still here. Um,
Yeah.
they are still a nuisance in the Premier League. I mean, look, how many? Every Big Six side conceded to Luton Town except for Manchester United. That just says a lot about Luton Town scoring. But what I mean, look at their team. You know, Lockyer he's back responsive and everything. He put out a statement a couple before the new year, I think it was. Um, how does Luton continue to do this? Not just stay up, but be a regular Premier League team at this point.
Luton needs a better defense or a goalkeeper. Tom Lockyer, it's looking ever so likely that he may have to hang his boots up because of this continuing condition that he has. And he is their captain. Without the captain, obviously, you'll be feeling it. And not to mention, he was maybe their best player, a key centre back, a key figurehead in the team, right? I think they need to replace him in centre back at the very least. At the very least, they need to get a new centre back in. Maybe look for a second choice centre back or a third rate centre back from any of the big six because let's be real here. Let's be real here. Joe Gomez would start in most other teams in the Premier League, right? Same thing with Joel Matip. He'd start in a lot of them. And I think that's just where they need to build upon because in the absence of Lockyer, in all of the stigma surrounding him and the entire situation, I think that the only thing that they can try to do is to defend. They're scoring goals, as I said. They are scoring goals. Their midfield has fought ferociously this season, especially against Manchester City. The first 60 minutes of the game, they absolutely fought to hang up, fought to their nails against them, and they only just lost. So I think they need a better centre back pairing, or just a better centre back or keeper overall.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. And look, I'm not going to be that much of a hypocrite because in the summer I did say that I didn't trust Thomas Kaminski all that much in the Luton Town net, but he has shown that he can do a job. He has shown that he can be a reliable goalkeeper in time. So maybe the goalkeeper is not what they need. Centre back, I mean, yes, right now their options are Tiden Mengi, who is wanted by a couple other Premier League clubs in this direction. Amari Bell and Osho, and then that's it. There is no one on the bench. They play with a back three. They need at least three more centre halves. So definitely, I do see where they do need another centre half. Maybe, as you said, target a second choice from a Big Six team, get them in on loan. Maybe Ashley Phillips from Spurs, or maybe you can go out and get who can you get from Arsenal then? Nobody. But yeah, there are many. There are many. I mean, Tomiyasu is more of a fullback, isn't he? But look, maybe they can go out. I mean, Luton, you check the budget. they can go and say, hey, they can go to this area and take a defender from Sassuolo. Maybe they can get Jorginho Scalvini on loan, probably, But centre backs, I think defense is probably the most reasonable, the smartest option for Luton Town. And that's for those who want to stay up. There are still teams that have a problem and possibly will go down. And we'll go with Everton's first. 10-point deduction. Fighting like hell, scoring goals like crazy. I don't think Everton need to change anything in their squad. And that's just a personal opinion. I think, unless they're changing Jordan Pickford, which is highly unlikely, they have to go with this squad for the rest of the season.
I was actually going to say the same thing. I don't think Everton need to say anything to stay up this time around. They have a good quality everywhere on the pitch. They have quality oozing out their ears. That fine earlier really set them back because had they not gotten that fine, they would have been way clear of the relegation zone right now. However, despite with that fine, the team has clawed. Sean Dyche has been phenomenal so far for them, and I would not change anything with this squad. Maybe the only thing by Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, Suarez, and you guys can challenge for the title next year.
I mean, that's a bit of a pipe dream anyway. I mean, I don't think they have that much money.
Hey, Cristiano is only worth 4 million. Messi's worth 5 million. Neymar is going to be released, so he'll be a free agent, and Suarez is only worth 4 million as well. You look, and then the rest of the other 100 million that you have put down, you just put it towards their wages. It'll be good. It's fair. Completely necessary.
This isn't Football Manager, bro. This isn't Football Manager, but glad we agree on that one. Moving on to the next team, Brentford, little old Brentford. They're in a position that's, well, I did predict them to be in around 16th position due to the other teams improving. But they're in a position many people didn't actually anticipate. Maybe they're way lower, closer to a relegation fight. And I don't think there's anything they can do either. They have a good defense that has been together, that has stuck with each other, that have been consistently fit. Aaron Hickey's a good player, Norgard in the midfield as well. And up front, they're going to welcome back Ivan Toney. I think the only thing they have to do is make sure when February 1st kicks in, Ivan Toney still wears the number 17 and plays up front for Brentford.
Yeah, that was the same thing I was going to say as well. The only reason I think that they're struggling at the moment is because they're missing the presence of Toney up front. As soon as he gets back there, he will be obviously the main man. I hope and pray that he is keeping himself fit, that he is still training, even if by himself, so that when Brentford come back, he won't miss a beat. Well, not against United at least. You can do it after United match. If he comes back around that time, right? Yeah, that's the only thing. They just need their captain back. They need Toney back. They need that goal scoring threat up front. And you know what? Possibly get another one. Because this shows in football that you can mess up. There can be issues. There can be issues barring injuries that also plague players. And it's good to always have some level of wiggle room in case anything happens. That's all I have to say on that regard.
I mean, yeah, but I think I get what you're saying. I mean, I trust Brian Mbeumo, but he's not available at the moment, so he's going
exactly.
back there. So they probably do need another striker. They're playing fucking Keane Lewis Potter up front. That's like the equivalent of playing Anthony up top. But anyway, we'll move to the next team, and probably they're probably where everybody expected them to be, Nottingham Forest, about 15th in the Premier League. They're not really punching above their weight. They sacked Steve Cooper, which I thought was a very, very strange decision. Nuno's won games, so they don't really care anymore. But for Forest, we know that they signed about 2,000 players when they just got up. But we also know that they have about 1,500 of them going to AFCON. Uh, what does Nottingham Forest need to do this window to make sure they stay a Premier League team come August the 31st next season?
Well, I wouldn't bring in any permanent signings. As you said, Steve Cooper sacking him. I actually supported it. I actually supported it. It was kind of getting annoying to watch the tacticless football that we were playing in the end. Nuno Espirito Santo has come in and really done well. I'd say to get loan signings in. Loan signings that can replace each of the key players that will be leaving for AFCON. Like in each position as well. In each position as well. Maybe like, get some midfielders that aren't necessarily at their best, midfielders that aren't necessarily, the greatest at the moment for their clubs. You can look at Newcastle, for instance, Longstaff. Um, he hasn't been really playing games. Willock hasn't been really playing games. And going out and getting game time would probably be their utmost priority, even if it's with a lower league team. Not lower league, sorry, a team lower in the league, if you get what I'm saying. That's all I really say. I wouldn't really change anything else, but to just get some reinforcements in. And as soon as the starters come back, then you can go back to regular football.
Yeah, well, for me, look, signing loan players, it would be difficult because, because they would be back in what? AFCON ends in February 11th, so you're going to have a bloated squad. You're going to have to be fixing that as well. I don't think they need to go out. I mean, they're missing players that, apart from, and if I'm not mistaken, apart from Niakate and Mangala, none of the other players that have gone to AFCON do make the starting 11 on a consistent basis. So they are lucky in that regard. So, look, I think the only thing they might need to do this window, and it might be a bit of a shocker, but it's to get a new winger in. And I know they have Hudson Odoi, I know they have Elanga, but below that there's nothing. There is nothing. They might need more depth. I know they put Gibbs White on the wing sometimes, but let's be honest, he's not a winger. They do need a winger to push this team forward. Elanga has shown what he can do, as Sav drops off there. But Elanga has shown what he can do, and so has Hudson Odoi. Look, Gibbs White is playing well at left winger, but who's to say he can be there, be consistently there for the next 4 or 5 months? A team can easily mark them out of this. So we'll just continue without South for now. If we do get word, we'll just let you guys know. And we'll move on to the next team, Crystal Palace, a team that has some familiarities. Now, Roy Hodgson is the manager. The rumors that they're in talks with Steve Cooper to become the new head coach. Some names have also been thrown around, like Graham Potter. We'll see what happens at the end of the season if they do sack, or when Hodgson does leave, actually. But for Crystal Palace, I think that maybe a number 9. I'm not sure. Hudson Edward. What's that other guy's name? Jean-Philippe Mateta. They play well up top. They do a good job. But maybe it's time to try and incorporate the new manager's tactics and style from January on instead of waiting the summer. How about if you get, say, for example, they go out, Steve Cooper is going to be the manager come June, July, and he wants Gift Orban up front. You go out, you get Gift Orban now, you incorporate him with the team, then you bring in Cooper, everything starts to click at that point, everything works, quote unquote works. If not, then obviously you go out and get someone else. But for Palace, I think the best thing they do need is a fit midfielder, because they have a lot, but they're all injured. So I think a fit midfielder is what they need. Sav, what are your takes?
All right, guys, I'm back. I'm very much sorry. I do not know what happened just now. My phone just decided to kamikaze. Well, okay. So as you said, Yeah, Palace's problems have been with the midfield. They're certainly missing some of the loan signings from last season, such as Conor Gallagher. Um, you know, I wouldn't necessarily change anything else. I mean, they did sack Big Patrick, which. Let's be honest, it was a horrible move. They deserve what they're getting right now. Um, in my honest opinion, they do deserve what they're getting. For a midfielder, I don't know exactly who would fit Palace's profile. Palace is versatile in both attack and defense. And there's not a lot of midfielders that they might be able to afford in their budget that can do that exactly. Maybe on the older side of players, you maybe can get one or two. You also have to take into consideration their position on the league table. No one wants to just be teetering 14th, 13th place. They want to be any experienced older midfielder. Hey, you know what? Jordan Henderson, yeah. Henderson has been begging to get back into the Premier League. Actually, he has been um, clamoring. Actually, he reports are saying that he is currently upset with this Saudi style of play at his club, and he's desperately looking to move back to the Premier League. You maybe can capitalize on that. You get yourself an experienced Premier League veteran, and you get yourself a hardworking centre midfielder. Whether or not he fits the system will just be now up to the manager. However, I think it'll be a good show.
I mean, I never thought Henderson would be the player mentioned, but okay. Look, as I said, you're either going to help Roy till the end of this season, or you're going to get players for the new manager, whether that's Graham Potter or it is Steve Cooper at the end of the season. Who knows? We'll just have to find out what Steve Parish is going to be doing with the board of directors. And moving to this guy, this guy, this guy,
Yeah,
his
well,
club,
you know.
his club.
Fulham.
Fulham in what are they now? 13th. He's not been bad actually. I think he has the second most clean sheets based on numerical value in the Premier League. And Fulham are clicking. They are the most clinical side in the Premier League. They're converting more shots to goals than any other team, which is strange because they didn't start scoring until November. Um, The question is for Fulham now. They had bids rejected for certain players in the summer, last summer. They didn't get them. They didn't go out and buy replacements. I'm talking £30 million to Scott McTominay. I'm talking money for a new centre back, but Tosin didn't leave. Um, they're currently linked heavily to Roberto Firmino on a loan deal from Al Ahly because they still need a striker. You know, Jimenez is doing excellently, but behind Jimenez, the fans are not convinced on Carlos Vinicius. I think he's very close to leaving this window instead of the summer. Rodrigo Muniz is just not it at all. So they do need another strike partner for Jimenez. Do you think they should be focusing on attackers this window, or do you think they need to shore up that midfield? Because Palhinha might go to Bayern. We don't know as of yet. He did sign a new contract, but that does not normally mean anything.
Well. All right. If Paulinia has many suitors, as you said, Bayern is the biggest team currently vying his signature. He won't be cheap for them. So surely Fulham will not make it easy for them to lose one of their main players. And as such, I think that the priority would be to hang on to their players. Don't make any rash transfer decisions. 30 million for Scott Tomini, that should be labeled as scamming. Um, uh, yeah, that should be labeled as scamming. Um, let's be real here. Let's be absolutely real. I don't really think they should be out and out trying to get attackers, especially if the system is working. Why try to fix a system that isn't broken currently? While in football, systems become broken quite frequently and fairly regularly. I'd say to try to bolster up the midfield and maybe getting one little striker on loan, like you said. Bobby Firmino, there's a lot of them actually. You have the likes of Aubameyang, who currently isn't really starting many games, you know, and just a veteran, just an experienced veteran, not necessarily having played in the Prem. However, Bobby Firmino would be the most ideal choice in that matter. But yeah, midfield definitely takes priority for me. Midfield definitely takes priority.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree. I brought up the point. So we're gonna move on to the next team in the list here before we do. I'll go all the way up the table. Um, Bournemouth, a club that no one actually does like. They don't really have fans. They have ultimate AI in the stadium. Not going into a rant. But the team on the south coast, they're having a wonderful season, aren't they? 12th in the league. They have Dominic Solanke as the third highest scorer. I don't think I need to get into more than that with Bournemouth. Um, Lloyd Kelly is back fit. They're starting centre back, the captain. He has not ruled out signing a new deal, even though he's a free agent in the summer. Do you think it's more important for them to be looking at options for the centre back position, or getting Kelly on an extension, or do you think watching Solanke's fitness and possibly getting a backup striker in is more important?
I'd say the major priorities should be firstly to secure that Kelly deal. No matter who else you go out and try to get, Kelly already knows the system. He's already used to the system. He's an integral part of the system. It's like losing a computer's motherboard. It's just not the same anymore after that. It probably doesn't even work, the replacement that you get for it. So I think that should be the main priority. And secondly, as you said, with Dominic Solanke, his fitness has been a major concern in the past, not only for Liverpool but for Fulham. Sorry, for Bournemouth. Why did I say Fulham? For Bournemouth, currently. I think that they should try to get a striker on loan, just in case of the worst. Quite possibly a young striker who want some minutes, who you can throw in the last legs to give him a run out, to make him score goals, boost confidence. Or maybe you're looking for the more veteran striker who can hold the forward line down constantly. And while not necessarily being the fastest or the most aggressive style of player, he certainly does get the job done. Yeah, that's the priority for Bournemouth. That should be the priority for Bournemouth.
I can't seem to disagree, because look, the team they've set up has been doing well under Areola. However, if Solanke does go injured, you're stuck with Kiefer Moore, who can't run or really jump. Let's be honest, he's just big. Moving on to the Midlands, we'll go to Wolves. This team, I'll keep it very short with Wolves. I don't think there's anything they can do in the window, and I don't think that there's anything they must do. Maybe, well, we just spoke about strikers. Maybe get one in, because they got two out so far, and they kind of don't have Huang, so there are three missing strikers. Maybe they do need a body up front.
Yeah, that's the only thing for me as well, just to get another striker, just in case of anything. Maybe you can look out for good second-rate strikers from the top flight, from different leagues. Maybe you can look out for Italian strikers. Surprisingly enough, Wolverhampton Wanderers do like to break away with pace. So they do play fluid counter-attacking football, and that's the whole style of play in Italy for a good majority of the clubs. I think they should look for a Italian striker, or a striker who has played in Italy in that regard. And the reason being is that, as you said, these men are physical. Wolves are a physical team, right? You can't play for Wolves and you're acting like a sheep. You're not going to survive there. You have to be a wolf. You have to be willing to break a few legs, and you have to be willing to pump a few legs in attack and defense. I might even go as far as saying that Wolves may be the most fit team in the Premier League. I might go as far as saying that because I've never seen Wolves players being just walking behind the ball for an extended period of time. They're always pressing, and as such, you know, you need a striker that can lead the press from the front end, which Italians are known for doing.
Listen, I mean, I can't really look. Wolves getting a striker is as important as Wolves getting a striker is important as you say both having cleats. it won't work without that. You know, the three strikers down, Cunha, he is scoring, but let's be honest, is he scoring because he's Cunha or is he scoring because of Juan? And that's the main issue. Now they have been linked with Danny Ings. I don't see why West Ham would even consider that move because Mikel Antonio he's re-injured himself. So we'll watch and see what happens with that instead. Um, and we move to the most expensive team in the world, right? We're moving to Chelsea. Now they've spent £1 billion, but they've still not solved anything as they're still sitting in 10th place in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to you. I don't know what to ask. What do Chelsea need? They have about 6 players in each position. But what do they need?
Chelsea needs divine intervention. They need to send Modric to war in Ukraine. They need to straighten Sterling's back. They need to make Jackson stop dancing and start putting the moves on the pitch. They need divine intervention at this point, man. Chelsea have the money. They have the financial backing to get basically any player in the world that they want. But at this point in time, I'm not sure of one player in the world that would want to go there that has other options, other top flight options at the very least. Chelsea, they need a more clinical forward. This is where they might be missing Alvaro Morata, who actually scored a hat-trick last game against Girona in that thriller of a match, 4-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need a whole host of things. They need to be able to. I mean, at least the scoring goals now. At least the scoring goals. Remember, there was a time, in the João Felix era when they weren't scoring. They were like maybe one goal for the entire month, and that was a penalty. So let's be real. I think
Yeah.
Chelsea need a lot done, and I can't really point out anything specifically because if I get into the specifics, well, this show instead of being 1 hour long will become 4 hours long, and I can't really afford that.
I mean, none of us can. None of us can. What they must do is try and keep hold of the players that they need to. Because look, they're selling Ian Matson. Well, not really. They want to sell him, but looks like they're gonna have to loan him out. Alex Matos is gone out on loan. Look, there are rumors that they're selling Conor Gallagher. I've heard that that's just not true whatsoever. They're testing the market to see what his price is, and Spurs are just gobbling up at the chance to possibly get him. But they might go out and get a centre half as well. They want to replace Thiago Silva. Not in the short term, but in the long term. So we'll keep an eye on that for Chelsea as well if anything does develop during this window. And from the richest squad to the richest owners, Newcastle United. Everything was well, They said, who was that team they called United after winning one game? They lost the next day. What? I mean, they've had a horrible injury record. Boo-hoo, so as everybody else on this list in some extent. But what do Newcastle need? I mean, some people were saying they're gonna have to get a midfielder. Joe Linton was injured. Longstaff was injured. Willock was out. But then Lewis Miley started playing. Now they don't need a midfielder. They needed a right back. They needed a full back, actually. But they have Lewis Hall and Livramento. So what exactly do Newcastle need to be fighting? Let's say that, I mean, their ambitions are for the Champions League. So what do they need to be pushing for top 4 now?
Newcastle, I wouldn't necessarily change much with this Newcastle squad, to be fair with you. I just think Newcastle needs an out-and-out striker. They need someone who can work into the box. They need a classic number 9, a man who is versatile enough, not like a poacher, but like, a Luis Suarez type player, a player who can link up play. Anybody that watches Newcastle nowadays realizes that Newcastle loves to play link up football, right? They like to control the game. You need a striker. And while Isak has been doing well, I just don't think Isak is necessarily the best link-up player per se. He can score goals. However, I don't see him being that. I think he needs someone beside him. I think he needs someone beside him so that he can exploit his space. Because Isak gets the ball, he's running forward. There's nobody else beside him except for Almiron and what's his name again? The kid from Everton that they bought. Anthony.
Gordon.
Anthony. What's his name again?
Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, Anthony Gordon. Yeah. He's on the left. He's very inexperienced, and Gaston is on the right. I think that he just needs some guidance beside him. I think he needs another a striker or a midfielder who can guide him. But I just think he needs an ex-striker. They need an ex-striker in case of anything. They have a great squad. I wouldn't change anything down to the manager. Maybe the horrible fans though. Your fans are like I can't say that. I can't say that. I cannot say that.
You've already riled up the Birmingham support. You can't rile up them, especially since Fleet would have not been looking so good anyway. But look, for
Listen,
for
listen.
Newcastle, they have been linked with the entire Saudi Pro League because they own it after all. So we might see some loan deals. We might see Benzema in black and white. We might see Ronaldo as a Jordi. Who's to know? But we'll just wait
No
and see.
shot. No shot.
Let's be honest. Eddie always said he's not expecting any movement. He doesn't really need to improve his squad. We know that Eddie Howe doesn't make any decisions, and he's just the guy who tells the players what to do. Moving on to someone who does all the decisions and can't get the players to do what he wants them to do, Manchester United.
Okay. Let me start. Let me start. New Manchester United needs a new goalkeeper, needs a new right back, needs a new left back, needs some new midfielders, needs 3 wingers, needs 2 extra strikers. And yeah, that's about it. That is about it, because really and truly this squad has been underperforming, underwhelming after the successes of last season. Ten Hag is not the problem, folks, and we've said this multiple times on the show. It's the player mentality, right? Bruno is not fit to be captain. Harry Maguire deserves better. Varane, just the injury problems with him. Oh, God bless his heart. Diogo Dalot. Onana needs to go to AFCON at pronto. He's the one player that we should be happy he's going to AFCON. Of course, for the Black Stars. Rashford, no comment. Sancho, send him back to. No, you know what? Let him learn Chinese. I think he deserves the Chinese Super League. I don't think he deserves Saudi. All he'll do is collect more money. He deserves China. He deserves China. I don't want to say anything else. We need another striker, because let's be quite frank here. Højlund, kid, I love you. I love you, my Burnley. I love you. But you need to start hitting the ball in the back of the net. You can't have the link-up play. Then again, Garnacho and Anthony has made a combined 4 passes in the last 700 minutes of football to you, so I can't really blame you. We need so much done to the squad, man. Like, once again, it's similar with Chelsea. If I were to sit down and talk, it'll be a next 4 hours at it, and we can't afford that. Jackson, over to you.
Well, look, I won't go as extreme as you and say we need that much of an overhaul in January. I mean, it's not going to happen anyway. But we do need an overhaul like that in the future. Now, look, I'm okay with the right back, Diogo Dalot. I think he's Ten Hag's preferred choice. I think we desperately need a left back until Malacia is fit, because let's be honest, Luke Shaw's been here 9 years and played 200 matches. You want to put that into context. How many matches did Ronaldo play in, 7 years, 9 years at Real Madrid? Like 400 and plus. So yeah, that's a problem. We can't have him be here anymore for that. He's collecting wages for nothing at all. Look, they've been linked with centre backs, Scalvini, Todibo. They've been linked with strikers. I think, who was it? It was Rafa Silva, Taremi. They've been linked with so much people, but it's Man United. They're linked with Schneider still, and he's been retired. Look, I think if United get a winger, right, they've been linked with Elise. They're not going to get him in January, definitely. But if somehow they do pull that off and get Elise in January, pay a release clause or whatever, Højlund does get more opportunities to score goals. They do need a striker, yes, because if Højlund is injured, then that's that. look, you're playing Marcus Rashford through the middle, and no one wants to see that. But I don't know. I really don't know. In January, the best we can do, the best United can do, is just get some players out. Sancho is gone. Get Martial gone. Get I don't know, man. Get some other players who don't need to be here gone. Donny's already gone, and see how much money you can recoup. And at that point, you go out. You probably go out and get a centre half to partner Martinez once he's back fit. Let's be honest. Varane is the best defender that we do have. Varane is probably the most underrated defender in world football. But long term, of course, 2025, 2026, he probably won't be the starter. So get someone to replace him at that point now. So we'll just try to get through this quickly right now. I mean, next up, Brighton, another South Coast team that produces some of the best talents worldwide. What does De Zerbi need apart from some anger management classes?
I wouldn't change anything with this Brighton team. It's almost it's almost perfect for me. I think maybe just get some additional fullbacks, um, just in case or anything, or another odd striker just in case anything. I wouldn't change anything, to be honest.
Okay. Hey, I'm the same. I don't think they need anything. Maybe they do need a couple fullbacks, but apart from that, they might just reach into their academy and just pull two out of thin air, and then you have 40 million pound fullbacks for nowhere. Moving on,
Literally.
West Ham United. Today wasn't so fruitful for them. I think it was Jared Bowen who got injured, along with, I think it was Saeed Benrahma, if I'm not mistaken, but there were three players who got injured today in their FA Cup game against Bristol City. As I said, Antonio's re-injured himself in training. What is there to change? Paquetá is injured as well, so do they need to go into the market? They have players but Moyes keeps a very thin starting 11. But do they need to go into the market to fix their team, fix the injuries? Because we don't know if any are long or short term.
Yeah, I believe that they need to get some more replacements because what football has shown us today is that you can lose. You can lose basically your entire team in the space of a week, your entire front three in the space of a week. We know as the situation with Mikhail, then Bowen and Benrahma had gone off injured. That's basically the entire front line. If you really think about it, that's their entire front line gone. So they need players that, in the event of any injury, they can replace them. And I don't just mean like any old player. I mean solid players because those positions are key. Those players are key to the team. Paqueta, Bowen, Benrahma, all key important players to the team, right? What you need to do now, my dear Moise, you need to go out. You need to scour the market for strong, tall, pacey forwards like how you normally do. You need to get yourself a winger either out of your academy or out of another team, maybe from Spain, who can produce a little bit of flair here and there. And yeah, that's what you need to do. You can't afford to lose anybody else, or else you'll be pulling a nan off the street and stuck in the number 9 shirt on her and telling her to go up front. And let's be real, she'll probably still do better. She'll probably still do better than. Well, there goes the joke. Jeez, I forgot. How did I forget his name? Oh my God! Never mind.
Bro,
I'm
you're
a
losing
failure.
it. You're losing it,
Never,
lad. You're losing it.
never mind. I'm a failure.
Don't worry, man. You're losing it just like how Tottenham are losing their handle in London at this point in time. They've brought in Timo Werner on loan. Veliz, the young striker they got from Argentina, he's out for 2 months. Son is gone to the Asian Games. And I think they only have Richarlison. I think he's still fit, if I'm not mistaken.
He is.
But, Brennan Johnston's injured. So they do need this type of player, Timo Werner. Is that Spurs window complete, or they're still in for Radu Dragusin? Very, very, very hardly, very advanced talks with Genoa. If they do get Radu along with Timo Werner, is that their business done, or is there something else they might need?
I think they need a little bit more. They need to control the midfield more. I think along with bringing in Werner and along with bringing in Vadu, I think they need to get a midfielder in far too often. Tottenham have been in pristine position to win games and have the midfield have let them down. Um, they need a more solid midfield, maybe one or two signings, experienced Premier League players, um, who can hold down the fort, good defensively, good attacking wise. As you know, Ange Ball tends to be very demanding of the players, and yeah, Tottenham need something like that. I don't think Werner and Radu alone is enough.
Yeah, just before I move on, I just wanted to say Travis Kelce is injured. Anyway, whoever to hear that is going to hear that in 5 seconds. Moving to their North London representatives, their North London teammates, their North London rivals in Arsenal, out of the Carabao, out of the FA Cup, bottling the title. Mikel Arteta says a striker is unrealistic and won't happen this month. And I can't tell you what else they might need. I can't tell you what else apart from a striker.
Well, I can tell you what they need is a partnership with PepsiCo because bottling seems to be in their genes at this point. Um, but yeah, a striker for them, Anthony. Arteta said was unfeasible, and I don't really see why. I really don't see why. Maybe he's trying to save his budget for the summer. We know that they want to sign a certain Mbappe. I'm sure Ethan would be thrilled. Uh,
Uh,
I'm, I'm sure Ethan would be thrilled at that. But yeah, I don't know anything else to be changed from this Arsenal team. Maybe getting another winger just in case, because you know Martinelli has an on and off switch. He turns it on when he wants to be Brazilian, and he turns it off when he wants to be Slovenian. You know, something like that.
yeah, look, Martinelli, I can't talk about him because if I do, it's hurtful. But Ale Garnacho is better player than him. Moving to the champions, the treble champions, whatever they want to be called, the Blues, the Light Blues, the empty stadium merchants, Manchester City, beat Huddersfield today. Um, let's be honest, Sheffield Wednesday could beat Huddersfield, and I think they did this season already. So it's not really an achievement. But Kevin De Bruyne is back. Um, no changes to City, right? There's nothing they can do. I mean, they've sold Zach Steffen and they're loaning out a couple of players, but nothing's changing at City.
I think no, I wouldn't change anything. The only thing I'd change is send Haaland on loan to Barcelona. You know, pay his full wages. Yeah, that's the only change I'd probably say.
Oh, you're living in dreamland. You are living in dreamland, man. You are living in dreamland. Just like second place in the league, Aston Villa. Now, they've got they've got wingers, they've got a decent striker, they have a great backup striker in John Duran. Let's be real about him. He is it, that Colombian guy. Their defense is getting better as players return from injury. They have one of the better goalkeepers in world football in Emi Martinez. I mean, maybe they lose Douglas Luiz. Yeah, I don't think they do this window. Does Unai Emery need to add anything else? I mean, I don't want to say it, but for the 64th time, they have been linked with another left-footed centre back again. They have four. Why do they need another? Why?
I wouldn't change anything with this Villa team. Everyone fits in perfectly. There's excellent chemistry to the game. Barring an odd injury, I wouldn't change anything at all. And it's just that simple.
Yeah, they're riding high, and I don't think they'll fall off anytime soon. Most of their opponents in the title race, they're going to be playing at Villa Park anyway, including Liverpool, who are top. Um, I'll just kick this one off and say it straight up. They do need a right back. Yes, they do. There are many Liverpool fans who think they need a striker. I'll just say the market is kind of not in your favor, so you can't get a striker. You're going to have to stick with Darwin until the end of the season. Look, El Toro is not moving from Inter. Osimhen is not moving from Napoli. You're not getting Mbappe this month unless you want to pay PSG money. But they're gonna have to stick with that. But I do think they need a right back, maybe another centre back, because as you saw, Van Dijk was out, Kwanzaa had to play, and he already had a knock, so you can't run those risks if you're trying to win the title.
Yeah, as you said, maybe another backup fullback or centre back. Nunes will improve with time. I'll tell you that for free. I don't see why people are hating on him. Remember when Bobby Firmino first came, yeah, y'all wanted him gone, and then look what happened. Give the man some time. Give the guy some chance. Like, let's be real, we're not perfect. None of us here are perfect, except for me, of course. And Jackson, because Jackson. Uh, yeah, we have to give him time. Give him some more time. And then maybe in the summer, if he fails to produce anything for the rest of the season, then you can say, hey, we need something else. But yeah,
Mhm.
for now, just maybe get another fullback in, another centre back in, and you should be fine. Or maybe another midfielder as well, because the midfield has been kind of underwhelming to me personally.
Yeah, and I mean they lost Wataru Endo as well. He's going to the Asian Games. I don't get why the Asian Games and the
Yes, can
AFCON
actually
are
played
in
in
this.
January.
I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. But we're not in charge here. Um, it is for do we have time for the Savage Slaughterhouse? That's the question that needs to be answered.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's just go straight into it. Without a break or anything.
What? No
Um,
break?
nah, no break, no break,
No break.
no
He's
break.
serious today. He's
No,
serious today, guys.
no break. Let's just go straight into it. So yeah, guys, welcome back again. Obviously, I shouldn't even say welcome back because we didn't leave, but it's a Savage Slaughterhouse with the boy Randy Savage, accompanied by Jackson Bryan. The reason for the rush is because I have some other details, but of course the fans come first as always. And at least one of these points you talked about already, Manchester's worries. So I'll just skip over that and move straight into the other topics, which aren't quite a lot to be fair. So Liverpool will be without their main man Mohamed Salah for the AFCON. Jurgen Klopp has said that he wishes for them to get groups so that he can come back as soon as possible, obviously in a joking manner. Jackson, what do you think this has on their title prospects? Of course, he is the main creator, the provider, like a mother to her son. He is the thing that's keeping the team together. What do you think happens without the main man forward, Salah?
I think
Especially for you to go far in the competition. Sorry.
Listen, I think they will miss Salah. Let's be honest, they did miss him today, but they won't be that bad. I mean, Liverpool are in a very decent position, and in January they don't have. I don't think they have that many fixtures to be worried about, right? Liverpool, look, they do have options. We should stop talking like they don't have any options up front at all. They've got Darwin Nunez. They've got um Cody Gakpo, they've got
Jota?
Harvey Elliott, they've got Diogo Jota. I
No, no,
mean,
no.
what?
Wait. Question. No, wait. Let's not bring up Harvey Elliott here, okay? There's a reason for that. That's
Fine, fine,
that.
no problem. But let's be honest, who do they have to play this month? They have the Carabao Cup semi-finals, both legs. They've got Bournemouth, and then they have Chelsea. Like, I don't think you need Salah for any of those games because let's be honest, you're playing Bournemouth, you're gonna be at Anfield for Chelsea, and it's the Carabao Cup. You should be able to play a bench and get that done. And then Salah should return maybe the first week of February. He probably will miss the Arsenal game, but will be back in time for Burnley. And look, I mean, one big game. That's it. Does that define your title races? I mean, look, it's Arsenal. You beat them today at their home ground with arguably the strongest team. Just do it again in a month's time, and you're off.
All right, that's fair. You've heard it here first, guys. Liverpool will not necessarily mix a certain Egyptian king. Moving on from them to another topic, it's Real Madrid. Real Madrid are seeking a new goal scorer. Obviously, they do not really have an out-and-out goal scorer at the moment. Jude Bellingham, the centre forward, has been scoring goals. However, they might need another backup option. Joselu, let's be real, no one really expected him to do. crazy numbers, but no one expected him to be this behind actually. And obviously the names are being thrown around. Obviously, for the millionth time, Kylian Mbappe, and then a more recent addition to the list, Julian Alvarez, which we have covered before. Jackson, do you see them signing any big? Do you see them making any big transfer moves this January, or do you think that they'll wait until the summer? They're not necessarily struggling in La Liga nor the Champions League. Girona are on their tail. Barcelona and Atletico Madrid are not really far behind. Do you see them being able to pull anything off?
I don't think Real Madrid will go into the striker market until the summer. Um, as was covered in Spain by great sources, they have sent an offer to Mbappe. They have set a deadline. And funnily enough, if he doesn't accept or give them an answer by then, they'll move for a certain Norwegian robot up front, which we know is going to happen because they haven't changed that release clause from his contract in Erling Haaland. So we'll see who they sign. Um, they've been linked with Lautaro Martinez. He confirmed yesterday that they're going to extend his contract at Inter. Victor Osimhen, he's extended his contract, but there's a release clause. We'll see what happens with that. They were close to Kane last summer. Again, for reasons unknown, he was not chosen, even though Ancelotti wanted him as his number 9. But um, no, I think the only market they may move into is the centre back market, and that again is unlikely. We have covered that they do have an agreement on terms with Antonio Silva, but not for January. They'll continue with Chouameni in the back until they do get some fit players, till they get someone back. But right now, they won't be going into the market.
All right, fair enough. On to the penultimate topic now. David De Gea to Sevilla. Do you see this becoming fruitful? Do you see this bearing fruit? Because Sevilla are in a very, 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 very tough situation in La Liga at the moment, and obviously we know that. But De Gea is without a work right now, without a job. Do you see them being able to pay him, and do you see him being instantly becoming the main man in the team, at least in the defensive aspect of things?
I mean, if they sign David De Gea, they have a great chance to push forward in the league. They've got Sergio Ramos, they've got Guedes, they've got Lucas Campos going up forward. Signing De Gea works. You know, he's back in his homeland. He's back in an environment that suits him, and he'll be able to showcase his talents. I think they're out of Europe, if I'm not mistaken, but he'll be able to showcase his talents in La Liga. Dragging Sevilla up, that would be fantastic for him. He has been linked with Newcastle. He does have offers from Saudi Arabia. He's not taking any Saudi Arabian offers for some reason. He's still out of work, and he's not looking to push for an offer. Seems he's waiting for the right offer. I don't know what that one is. He knows United not coming back for him. But I think David De Gea back to Sevilla, that would be poetic. Let's just say that would be poetic.
Yep, and after all, De Gea said he does not want to play in the Saudi league. He prefers passion over money. I think we can all learn something from that. But of course, I would go for the money right now. I'm broke. But, let's aspire to be like David. And for the last topic of the day, before we have to wrap up, it's Inter Miami finishing off with the greatest striker of our generation, Luis Suarez, has been officially unveiled as their next player. Jackson, it's a party in Miami. Alaba, Busquets, Messi, and Suarez back together. The only person missing is Xavi and Iniesta. And I'm sure Xavi can take a little leave from Barcelona, and Iniesta can take a loan from a loan from the J League to come and play. How do you think? How do you see Inter Miami facing up, especially with this transfer window? They lost Miller earlier. Um, I think about 2 days back they lost Miller, traded him in for another player. I don't have any confirmation of who the other player is, but they have traded in Miller, the centre back. Jackson, what do you think of Inter Miami's chances this time with the MLS trophy?
I might say something shocking, but I don't think they'll win the MLS, whether the regular season or the playoffs. I think they have a hard journey to come up against that Columbus team. We have spoken about Blake already as MLS goalkeeper of the year for 3 years. Atlanta United are still arguably the best team there in terms of the talent they have at their disposal. But they have a good chance, you know. Suarez up top now. You got Messi, you got Busquets, you've got Jordi Alba. How about you bring in Nicolas Otamendi and I don't know, get Victor Valdez out of retirement. Let's have a party, you know, like it's 2009, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I see them going pretty far. I see them at least making playoffs. And that's the most
Mm.
important thing. Like this season they failed because Messi could not play for the last part of the season. Um you know, still have a whole calendar, still have the man, the myth, the legend Robert Taylor. And of
Mm.
course we still do have the legend Jackson Bryan here as we have to wrap up now. I don't know where that transition was going. But thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Randy Savage, for the GZ Sports Transfer Roundup, accompanied by Jackson Bryan. Thank you as always for tuning in. We sincerely appreciate all of the good messages, good vibes, all of the support that we have been getting. Happy New Year to all of you guys. Yeah, of course, be sure to sponsor. Wait, sponsor? Yeah, you know what? Be sure to sponsor us. And be sure to follow us on YouTube, Twitter, of course, on StreamYard and on StreamYard. At Randy Singh, at Jackson Bryan Williams, I think. Jackson Bryan Williams. Okay,
There it
so
is.
at Kyle Willie 31 and at Orandi underscore Singh. And you can follow us at GZ Sports 22 on Twitter or X if you're more,
Woke.
modern, woke culture. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a boy tuning in for the first show of many in January, first of 51, I'd suspect, or 50. Yeah, we have about 50 or 51. And we'll see you guys next week. As always, much love, bless up.
Yeah,
Vamos.
we'll see you next